If you had to pick only one skill to be a mix engineer, this would be that skill. It's arguably the most important lesson of all. Gain staging. You're probably going to want to start by doing this exact process. So when I say gain staging, I don't just mean what levels you set the volume faders at. There's going to be spots where 3 or 4 channels are summing together and it's going to create a big spike. So how are we removing these peaks? Hard digital clipping. The exact thing that all the audio engineering books tell you to not do. Well, it turns out that information is out of date, and properly utilized, clipping is actually more transparent than limiting. All the clipper is doing is when that signal gets up to the level, it just flattens it off. Everything below the level, unchanged. With a limiter, the signal below the level has to deal with the release time of the limiter and is sometimes fluttering around, slightly coloring the sound, slightly losing the transients, slightly collapsing the stereo image. So if you got a peak clipper, you got a sustained sound limiter. So those are our 2 main tools. A lot of the best mixing engineers spend a really long time getting all the volumes super perfect, all the peaks removed. And so much of the compressors and EQs that you think you need, you actually don't need. You just need to get the gain staging right. If you do that first and hold your hand back from reaching for the EQs and the bus processors and the compressors, like hold your hand back, just get everything as good as it can be just with volumes, with like the perfect fidelity, no processing. And then, and only then, after you've done the most that you can with volume, do you come in and do stuff like EQ or compression or whatever. That is often enough. Like if you manage the peaks on the individual channels and then you manage them also in the groups, when they all get all of that really strict gain management and clipping, and then your lead doesn't, and the lead goes right to the master, it'll feel like it sits on top and in front of the mix in this really awesome way. Happy clipping.